Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, we had slight technical difficulties on Monday. Looks like we're in for a proper mixed up grid this evening. This can go any way tonight. Well, let's get on the way. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to still a Tier 3 stream, this time on a Thursday evening. The F1 servers on Monday, when we should have had this race, completely gave up. Don't know what happened. And the servers were just having an absolute meltdown, like I was last night. But I will refrain from putting myself on Mars once more. I've been there and back as my mental state. But we are here, Tier 3, a few days later than planned, but it seems like the F1 gods are repaying us in a way, or at least punishing our Tier 3 drivers with some heavy, heavy rain. And around a street circuit, that is going to make for plenty of mischief indeed. I'm Cruiser, as I said, and of course, a different day to race, but same old commentary duo, myself and Monkey Boy Kurt. How are you doing? And I'd imagine a lot more pumped up than you first were, and about 2 minutes ago before we loaded up the race.
Yeah, I am. Good to be here once again, Cruiser, on a Thursday night. I don't think I've ever done comms on a Thursday night, so this is a first for me, I think. But yeah, I was going to say we might have to start doing Tier 3s on a Thursday more often, because we've got a full grid in tonight of 20 drivers, which I think, apart from the start of the season and potentially last week as well, was the first time we've had that. So it's good to see. But yeah, this is going to throw up all sorts of shenanigans for quali, and just like to quickly point out, last time we had a wet quali, it was Radical that found himself on pole position, so that was around Japan. So it'll be interesting to see who is going to be the one to get pole position tonight in these wet conditions. Obviously, Azerbaijan, Baku, a lot more difficult track in terms of making sure that you keep it on track and not in the barrier, and especially going through that castle section in this wet weather. It's going to be very treacherous for all the drivers out there today, so it's going to take a lot of good skill tonight to put yourself on pole position, but definitely looking forward to it, mate, and hopefully we're going to be in for a really good race as well afterwards.
And also please welcome Mr. Nobody driving the RB, and I should say that because on the subject of RB, our championship leader Fish Sticks is not racing tonight, and if the rumours are true, they're not racing next week either. So looking towards the Sauber of Eagle, this is the chance to close up the deficit, which was 28 points before this week of racing, and at one point we were looking at about 50 at some stages. As you just see that how treacherous, and just to clarify, Mr. Nobody is actually going to be Jelly Bean Mike in the RB, sitting in with David Allface this evening at the team formerly known as Minardi. And in the constructors' sense as well, another big chance for Alpine to take a couple of points out of the RB team. Sheriff Woody and Godfather, a very consistent team during the campaign, 37 points back, 3-7 behind Racing Bulls. So now we head off to this qualifying session, and given the length of the track, we are going to see some sub 2 minute lap times here, I think, from these drivers. It is a very long track, and although that third sector is basically one long straight line, as Silverside Boy will well know. Even though it is raining, no DRS, actually looks like it's lightened off a lot. It's in the first couple of minutes. That explains why the likes of Leonardo and the Tattooed Star are going on the intermediate tyres. Just see how treacherous here Major Allen is taking this track. 43 seconds in sector 1, and usually in the dry you're about 10 seconds faster than what the Mercedes driver is doing. And now we head up to the castle section. If you're brave, you can take this one around third gear. And looking at some 50 miles an hour through the castle, ever so careful is the Major. And I suppose in some senses a preview to the race. If this is what the race is going to be, it is just going to be survival for some of these drivers. Baku in the past throwing up some thriller races in FPRL. I look back to Season 8 in Tier 3, David Lawface winning the race by 0.02 of a second over Radical, as Major Allen plonks the wall there, thankfully flush to the wall and no such damage for the Mercedes. And Silverside Boy fine well knows, because he never shuts up about it, I beat him by 41 thousandths of a second last season in Tier 2, so I figured I'd get that dig in somewhere. as he immediately gets his dig for the evening, as Major Allen drifting it through turn 19. Well held there from the Mercedes. And as I said, Silverside Boy getting his dig in already, saying 6-0 to the mighty Brugge. And of course, yeah, I'm not speaking on that, but yes, Rangers got absolutely battered by Club Brugge last night. That's all I'm going to say in the matter. David Law facing a 202.4. If it was a 1 minute lap time, I'd be concerned. Major Allen a 202.4, and Leonardo already approaching the sub 2 minutes, but it did come at a price, that being no front wing, as Godfather already breaks into the under the 2 minute barrier, a 59.9. And I get the feeling, even though the track is torrid, to say the least, we will see lap times evolve and get faster, but how much faster? I don't really know, because we're about 20 seconds, I think, slower than we are in the dry.
Indeed we are, and here comes Eagle now, one of the championship leaders trying to fight for this championship on the wet tyres, and he goes P4, and the tattoo start on the other driver on the intermediates apart from Leonardo goes into P8, the slowest so far out of the drivers that have set a lap. So very interesting tyres here it's going to be for this session, as Josh, look at that, goes through. He's getting hang of the track already on a 58.6. So Leonardo there, the kind of one that's sort of standing out on the inters, a 2 minute 1. But then we've got 3 guys on the wets. That's Mongo, Godfather and Josh, all quicker. And then Taut Star right at the back. So if Leonardo can go there on the inters, it pretty much means that I think that the track is basically right on the cusp of both wets and inters. And most people at the moment going for the wet tyres. As we now will see a few more drivers come to the end of their laps. One of them is going to set a lap, and one driver who I think will probably fare a bit better in these conditions and around this track is FPRL Locker, who is now coming around one of the final corners before we get onto that main straight down towards the start finish line. Here he comes then, so in the Haas, and going through the last couple of corners now, has to lift off a little bit, but he has got the battery on hot lap, and now he should deploy the rest of it on overtake as he gets towards the line. And there it goes, on it goes, coming down as we get to the line now. What can Locker do in the Haas? Can put it P9 for now. It's a 2 minute 2, and yeah, I think for some of these drivers they're just gonna have to really put at least 3, 4, 5 laps of fuel in the car, maybe go around at least once or twice, and just get used to where the braking zones are, and get a really good feel for the track, because probably the better times are all going to come towards the end of the session when everyone's had a familiarisation of the track in these conditions. But still at the moment Josh leading by a 2nd and 3/10, I should say, on a 58.6, and Hirsch just goes up to 3rd as well, who is also noted for liking these kind of conditions.
Well, from one Scotsman to another, we do know a thing or two about rain. We've had quite a bit of that this week. And I just want to say an open thank you actually to Tier 3 for making the effort to make it here to the grid this evening. Basically almost everyone from Monday who signed up is able to be here tonight, so appreciate the effort for making the time to compete, as Mongo makes it a Williams 1-2. Waterween Racing makes its return in these conditions, and although over a second behind his teammate, they won't really care, as it's still the front row for them. Let's head down to the Aston Martin of Delta. Still finding his feet in this campaign, and looking to just about get it stopped there. Looking to get his first points of the season. Agonisingly missed out around Imola just a few races ago. And of course Baku, as I've said, is a survival of the fittest. So we'll see who is indeed the iron survivor of this track. Is there Delta drifting it around turn 17, turn 18, turn 19. It's just so treacherous around here, and given the nature of the track, you've got to run lower wings because of how long these straights are. And in the dry it'd be perfectly fine, DRS, and just get a slingshot pulling towards turn 1 or even turn 3, and just in the wet it is literally ice you are driving. As Delta up to 12th, and we see here to race quit 9th, and a bit of a spread actually in the field. Leonardo's time of a 2:01 still holds up well despite being only 6th place, and I say that some over 2 seconds behind Josh, who still seems a bit unfazed actually at the front, as there's more improvement in the field. Seeing a couple of the Alpines getting ready for another run. That looks like Sheriff Woody looking to improve his time, and breaks below the 2 minute mark just behind Hirsch and only just ahead of Leonardo Edo on a 2 minutes point 2. And there, Hirsch improves to a 59.2. A good bit of time there gained for the McLaren driver. And now splits the Williams.
Yeah, he does indeed. And there goes Tatati Star up also on the intermediate tyres. He goes up to 2 minutes and 8 tenths as well. So you've got the top 7 there, about a second in front of 8th position. We've got a yellow flag out. I think that is just Hirsch slowing down. But yeah, Hirsch getting close now to Josh. He's around 6 tenths back on a 59.2. Another driver that's out there on the Inters, sliding around the penultimate corner is Sid Sandwich, who is obviously in his second race back with us after getting his new console, been able to get back on the game. Here he comes now on the Inters, and where's he going to put it on his first lap? It's going to be in the 2 minute ones, P13 for now, 2 minute 1.7, and still some work to be done there, but he's still got 7 minutes to improve, so definitely not all doom and gloom just yet. Another driver that's out there is Radical, currently out on his outlap, and I seem to think that he was on an outlap and now he's come back in and got out on another one, so he's only left himself 6 minutes here as David Lowface there goes and splits the 2 inter runners and goes up to P8 of a 2 minutes 4. So a lot of drivers now starting to improve and getting used to the track. Here comes FPRL Locker. Is he going to be going quicker? I don't think he is, but he is going to start there once again. Well, he does improve very, very slightly on that, but it's not enough to put him up any more positions. Is there anyone else coming around to set another flying lap? And I'm just looking now. Sheriff Woody is down by 65 thousandths, but he is coming into the box. We've also then got Eagle, and he's actually 3 tenths up, Eagle. So here he comes. Is he potentially going to go into third place or even potentially second? It's going to be P3 for Eagle, and this is definitely a race where he definitely needs to try and get the best out of the car. It's obviously his championship rival Fishstick's not racing. He could potentially go, if he wins tonight, 3 points away from that championship lead.
But equally, double jeopardy. If he pushes it too hard, the gap still remains at 28. So Eagle's got to pick his battles carefully this evening. That's the best bit of advice I can pass on to the Sauber driver playing catch up in this championship chase. Sid Sandwich on a 201.7 just ahead of his teammate Locker, not really improving. 5 minutes left to go. I don't know if it is actually worth getting a fresh set of tyres on, because the outlap around here, you're going to be looking at maybe even 3 minutes for an outlap as our Godfather throwing it into turn 15, a notorious corner to get right. So easy to get it wrong. But Godfather fares quite well. Is down by a second though, and that sums up their lap, because they're sizing themselves up for this run to the start-finish line. And I get the feeling this is where Josh made up all their time, just nailing that fast chicane in the final sector. Is Josh now out on his... I swear he was already on an outlap. I don't know if that was him or Mongo. It might have been one or the other. But we'll keep an eye out on Godfather for this run, and equally keep an eye out on Josh, unless the time graphic is just slow. And actually, I actually can't scroll up. There we go. I can finally scroll up and see Josh starting his lap, so keep an eye out as well on the Williams if he can build on that margin on pole. But the one I'm really surprised at though is as Locker actually finds around a second in his lap time to go into the top 10. Oliver Ritchie, who last time out around the Hungaroring ran Edo to the very end, didn't win the sprint race we had, but did take a very tactical victory in our main event, the main Grand Prix. And down in 11th place right now is the Red Bull driver. Maybe not liking the track, maybe not liking the conditions. Comparing the Hungaroring to this Baku circuit, it is complete polar opposites. Baku, despite its street circuit nature, is a lot easier to overtake on around the Hungaroring, but equally so much more jeopardy because it is a street circuit. So we'll see what everyone else can do in a final run, as it looks like Major Allen has folded and has went for the intermediate approach. And a 202.1 hasn't improved in his time, and is, I would say, got one more chance after this lap to improve. And another guy who likes to keep it late is Gregors. Left it late around Spain and bagged himself 10th place on this qualifying. And equally in that race, Rain did make an appearance as well, although in the race, not quite in qualifying. As where's Josh? Looks like he's still heading up towards the final sectors. Radical puts that wet weather fortune to good use, up in 4th, just improved there to go ahead of Mondo. Godfather still in his run, needs to find, I'd say, about 2 seconds in his lap, which we will now avert from the Ferrari, stroll all the way up through the field and head to Godfather, heading down the final sector. A lot of battery in hand here for that Alpine, and now down this never-ending start-finish straight. Right behind him is going to be Josh. So what is the margin that Godfather has over him? He's now put a second in favour over the Williams, and immediately Josh can't respond. Josh only finding 4 tenths in that lap, Godfather getting it right when it counts, and now it's his turn to sit on the throne and some 6 tenths ahead of the field.
Yeah, I think the track's starting to improve as Locker now goes up to P6, a 59.6. His track is definitely starting to improve here, and Locker will definitely have a chance here to have... he's just knocked a bit of his wing off, though, and that's not ideal, but P6 for now. He'll be happy with that, but I think the track is definitely starting to get quicker as we're now starting to see everyone come out onto their final runs. We're just going down the list of drivers who we've got out there, and once again, Button not deciding to go out. I don't know about that at all. Don't know if you know anything about that Cruiser, but he did that last race, Button, and now he's done it again. He's not decided to do quali, which I'm not too sure about. Major Allen there just goes up to P9, P10, but Rage Quit, look at that, on the Inters up to a 58.8, and that's going to be his final run, so he won't be able to improve on that. But that is a really good lap from the Ferrari, who, let's be honest, hasn't really been there in terms of the front of the pack all season, really. So to be there is extremely well done to him. As Radical comes into the box, he's not going to give it another go, and that's going to be the end of quali for him. So I'm really impressed with that time there from Rage Quit. What a time that is. It might be turned to us that the Inters are now the tie to go on, as that's what a lot of drivers seem to be doing now, as we have more people coming around. Sheriff Woody up to P4 on the wet weather tyres, a 59.1. This is literally anyone's at this point. And Sheriff Woody also has a whole battery left as well, so we can go for another run here. But we are now starting to see the rest of the drivers now come in. The yellow flag is out, and that, no, I'm not sure if that's a moving driver there, potentially, or someone's run out of fuel, maybe, I don't know. But we go.
Someone has.
As the Tattoos. Yeah, it looks like maybe an Alpine, I think. Tattooed start up to third on the Inters. This is literally anyone's pole position here. They can get the lap right. This could go to anyone, as Locker has retired in the pits. He can't improve. But we'll all go back to you now, Cruiser, for the end of the session. But this could be anyone's. As there's Leonardo.
We looked away for just a couple of seconds. Leonardo now in a 56.3. The Tattoo Starswell improves to go fifth. His best qualifying of the season, if he can stay there. Josh still in third, and yep, he's the one that's ran out of fuel, so Josh had one more lap in store, and he didn't improve enough to go ahead of Godfather at the very least, so that's him now limping around on no fuel. Who else is there? Sid Sandwich now goes up to fourth. This field is going to be split and changing every single second, every single lap time. That is set. Now we look to her. She's up by a couple of tenths up to the end of the lap. Edo's fourth himself. He'll be happy with that result. The Tattoo Star is now falling down to seventh. Sheriff Woody up by a second. Edo needs this lap more than anything. What is his split time? He's up by a couple of tenths. He's now up by over a second. Keep an eye out on that Sauber as well. Josh, as we say, not going to improve. Keep an eye out now to the bottom of the field. Delta, Gregors, Oliver is going to be the big shock here if he doesn't improve from 18th, and Willybum as well. Not a lap time on the board there. And as you said there, David Lawface up to second place as well, displaced by Sheriff Woody immediately. Now there's a Red Bull. Oh my goodness, everyone's improving now, but what about Edo? If we can stroll through in time, Edo gets third. There's Delta on their final run. Redders and Oliver, the drivers to complete their lap, as Delta up by half a second. Oliver on their final run. He's got to hope that fuel holds out to the end, and Oliver is going to put himself up surely in the top 5. Fifth place for the Red Bull. That's a bit more like it for them, given their form at the Hungaroring. Redders is out of battery. That's going to be his lap completely ruined. No battery to the end of this start-finish straight, and that's going to cost him. He's now in 9th. Delta last up the cross the line. If he can break into the top 10, he'll be happy. Goes 14th. He won't be too upset with that. And Rage Twit, before the final lap times were set, was up in 4th, by the way. He's now in 15th. A 58.8. and the track evolution on full display. And the one who tamed the rain is the shock, I dare I say, of Leonardo to take pole position ahead of the Red Bull of Willybum. Edo in third, Sheriff Woody, Olawa, David Godfather, Josh Dreggers in the Hirsch, the Scotsman in 10th. And if that's what we've got for qualifying, this race, anything can happen.
Yeah, what a mental quality session that was. At one point, the two Hasses were 5th and 6th. They now find themselves down in 17th and 18th. That's absolutely crazy there. What a session. Probably the best quality session I think we've seen this season, if I can say so. But Leonardo taking pole position, a great lap there, and he's kicks out the teammate of Eagle, our championship contender, in P3, then being split by Woody Bum in P2. Yeah, a really good session there, especially that final run. It just seems as if the grid was, the track was really starting to get better, and the later you were, the better your time was going to be. But yeah, like you said as well, Cruiser, rage quit at one point, was P3 on that grid, and he now finds himself lower down in the bottom half, even probably close to the back 2 rows. So yeah, big shocks there. But what a session. And we'll definitely now be looking forward to the race. If it's wet like that, it's going to be very, very interesting indeed.
That it will. As an absolute given, as we'll now wait for the weather to load in. And now the fact I've actually seen rain, nice and dry, for the now at least. But the fact I've actually seen rain around this track, it gives me the absolute fear going on to our Tier 1 race. It feels weird saying Tier 1 tomorrow, as we've rescheduled this evening. But, yeah, given the fact that rain is likely, I'm not looking forward to it because I don't have the best of luck in street circuits as it is. And if you add rain to the mix, it's going to be a nightmare for myself. But I suppose it is now the halftime of the stream. I don't really want to talk about the football, but how about we talk about what else happened today in terms of European football? The Champions League draw for the league phase took place today, and I tell you what, there are some very good fixtures in that. Those in our Twitch chat, I know you guys are out there supporting a couple of the Premiership teams that are taking place, and some teams even abroad. What do you make of the draw? Because I tell you, I think Mr. Silverside boy, he'll be relatively happy with Liverpool's draw, but there's some really interesting games in that. Can't really say much for ourselves because we've got Europa League, and you yourself, Monkey Boy Kurt, you're loyal to the soil of MK Dons, so...
Oh yeah, we don't get any European football like that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think the furthest, I think the best glamour tie you could probably get is something like Arsenal or something.
Well, I mean, we did have Man United 11 years ago to the day almost, and we beat them 4-0. And if you're a Man United fan out there, hang your heads in shame after last night, because what on earth was that?
Laugh.
Yeah. You can't laugh, mate. No, you cannot.
No,
I saw that. I just looked
cannot.
what the score was for you last night. So
moving
no
on. Yeah, but no, we can talk about that if you want, because I've matured somewhat. I've gave up, so that's why I'm more than willing to talk about it. The first stage is acceptance. The second stage is denial, and whatever else follows, because I'm delusional.
Well, yeah. I mean, I really, yeah. Couldn't believe it last night. I still can't get over it. How do you lose to Grimsby? But yeah, okay. Well,
oh dear.
No, I am really looking forward. Just going back to this race, that quali session, as well as much as we might say, oh, there's been some shocks in there. Are we really shocked to see any of those top 10 in the top 10? I don't really think we are, to be honest. They've all sort of shown what they can do in the dry in certain races this season. Gregor's not been too much in the top 10 in quali anyway, but that might be one. Hirsch having a bit better of quali. We know that he's normally better in the race, but the wet weather probably helped him out. But yeah, I mean, Oliver Ritchie obviously having the win in his debut race last week around Hungary up in P5. Now that we're in dry conditions, it'd be interesting to see if we see Eagle and Oliver having a fight like I did last week. The only difference being that Oliver tonight is in the Red Bull rather than the McLaren. don't know if Cruz has muted himself or he's just gone somewhere else, but might have done. Be interesting also to see tonight, guys, what tyres people start on. Obviously, not using any dry tyres in quali. He might make some people start on slightly different tyres. And looking down the race director at the moment, there is quite a split, and the odd person also going for an extremely different strategy. So obviously you'll be able to see that in a sec once we get underway. But yeah, both kick Saubers first and third, one starting behind each other. Hopefully they can get away well, and hopefully there is no crashes, unlike last night where some Aston Martin decided not to brake and pretty much took took myself out anyway. And yeah, less said about that the better. But here we go. Here's 5 red lights. Cruiser, are you there?
I am here, I am ready to go, and so are the drivers, and we are underway for our Tier 3 Azerbaijan Grand Prix at long last, 3 days later, as Delta somehow is leading the way, but that's just a timing bug, I hope. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure it's Leonardo that leads the way from Willie on the second, Edo, Sheriff Woody, Oliver, who is technically 5th, and this is going to be very fun for the opening lap as we already have a virtual safety car, absolutely fantastic. And it looks like someone has been caught up with a kerfuffle in the back, and I couldn't tell you what happened honestly because, I mean, look at our timing charts. It still shows Delta's first, even though Deadeye says about 15th, and it looks like they're the one with the front wing damage.
Yeah, not entirely sure what happened there on the first couple of corners. It didn't look too bad in terms of massive incidents. I just think it was a lot of people hitting each other's wings and knocking them off. As there we go, we've reset now. Delta's back into where he is actually on the track. Jellybean Mike has got wing damage down in P16. And I know I saw Locker and I think Major Allen come to blows, and they've got some wing damage in front as well. People need to make sure that they're braking behind this virtual safety car as we go green again. No one does get a drive-through penalty there. But yeah, I think we're all okay now as Leonardo does get away in the lead with Willie Bum second and Eagle first. The top 3 keep their places, but this is now where everyone has got to be extremely careful, especially on these first couple of laps where they're all still together.
That we do as we look towards the mid-pack here. Button getting ahead of Mike, and Delta looks like he's got a penalty. Let's confirm, 3-second penalty, so it's not the drive-through for the Aston Martin driver, but still not the best start to the evening for Delta, still in his pursuit of points. As down the start-finish straight video for the first time tonight out of 26, Silverside Boy and Jack getting PTSD already, and I still have to throw that dig in somewhere because I just do, it's tradition. As now down the inside there goes Oliver Ritchie on Sheriff Woody, and Oliver up to 4th in his chase for his back-to-back Grand Prix victory in FPRL. And Leonardo, his teammate Willie teammate to Oliver, still second, Edo 3rd, Oliver 4th, Sheriff Woody in 5th. We've got 4 cars in the pit lane, Major Allen, Delta, Locker and Mike suffering from the opening lap escapades as there's more front wing in the back, and that's a massive blow there for Godfather. His front wing's completely gone, and also David looks like he's got a bit of end plate damage as well. We're littering the streets of Baku already.
We literally are here, and yeah, you can see Godfather, no front wing. Surely he's got to get out of the way of everyone. There's fighting with a bit of end plate damage, but holding the whole pack up with no wing. Surely needs to get out of the way here and let the pack through. It's just going to cause a massive gap between Sheriff Woody and David Lowface, and there's the train just behind him as he holds everyone up. He really just needs to get out of the way, but it doesn't look like he's going to anytime soon. He looks like he's going to fight this off as he tries to get back to the pits, but yeah, it even looks like the guys behind him are fighting. It's giving him a bit of breathing space, but especially down to this corner here, got to be very careful. And he is extremely slowly going through there and still will not get out of anyone's way. As I think we saw some other people in the background there, potentially Josh and Sid hitting the ball as they went through the quite quick left-hander. But going back to the front, Leonardo looking in full control after a couple of laps. He's out of DRS range, and that means he won't be under attack. But someone that is under attack now is Woody Bum as Eagle overtakes him for P2, and that's the Kick Saubers 1 and 2 after 3 laps. Oliver Ritchie up to 4th place as well, and now we see Godfather into the box, gets out of everyone's way, and all definitely dropped right down near to the back of the pack, where we've got Delta, Locker, Jelly Bean Mike and Major Allen, who have also come in for repairs. Looks like Rage Quit is also into the box as well. So already we've had 6 drivers coming in from the box to check their wings changed. And here comes Godfather now. It looks like he will easily get out ahead of this pack behind him. Not so sure about Rage Quit though, as we see Delta once again back into the box. So more wing damage for him. And now Eagle's been able to get past Leonardo. Oh, Delta's retired in the pits. And we've got someone off at turn 1, and that is Godfather. He's overshot turn 2, sorry, I should say. And yeah, completely ruined his race now as the Alpine.
Yeah, better nights, I'm sure. For Godfather, as Locker, they're getting ahead of Jelly Bean Mike into turn 3, using the other DRS on this track. Is actually in it. Leonardo's got severe front right damage on that. Front right damage. I said right front wing damage on the right side. There we go. We got the sentence out in the end. We got the sentence through. And I think Leonardo might actually have to pit this lap. He's going to suffer really badly here with understeer, drifting all the time towards that barrier of doom on the outside of turn 19. And I get the feeling it's going to be a switch here at Sauber and a switch at Red Bull, as there was a DRS for Eagle to take the lead of our Tier 3 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and Oliver using the DRS to get ahead of Willie Bum now himself up to 3rd. And Eagle knows all too well that Oliver is going to be a thorn in their side for the rest of the evening, as this Sheriff Woody is still in 5th, just out of DRS range of the top 4, and this colossal fight for 6th place involving about 7,000 cars. It's like a scene out of Fate of the Furious here with the AI cars. But Sid Sandwich is ahead of everyone as the train makes its way down towards turn 3. Josh, David, Hirsch and Mondo in 10th. Hirsch a bit of the outsider here because he is making a move around the outside of Mondo. And oh, David, no, I think David went straight on. He has. Oh, nope, that's a barrier, David. It is again. Yeah, we'll flip away from that, as that allows Locker and company to catch back up a little bit. But David Lawface, that has completely ruined his race. I don't know if he's been forced wide. I don't know if he's... well, what has happened is his race is very much in trouble, unless he has a safety car. But around Baku, you'd be surprised how common they are for safety cars. And right now, it just seems like everyone's starting to just nestle into the race. But this mid-pack here is getting very, very feisty.
It is indeed, and it's almost like this race has now been split into 3 separate races. You've got 1st down to 5th, you've then got 6th right down to 13th, and then 14th right down to 19th. So massive gaps between those 3 sections of cars on the track as we go to the front again, and Oliver Ritchie finds himself now up into P2 after overtaking Leonardo, who clearly is trying to fight that wing damage, but I think really needs to come in because he's just going to keep dropping back and dropping back. And now we find ourselves in a situation very similar to last week. Eagle leading, Oliver Ritchie 2nd. It's like Hungary all over again, and are we now going to have a bit of to and fro between these 2 drivers once again as we go on to more laps in this race. But as we see there, and I think Sheriff Woody might have gone a bit wide there, coming down into turn 3. He has lost an end plate as well, so a lot of wing flying off as Sid Sandwich now really trying to hold up the pack behind him as Josh tries to go down the inside of turn 4, now to the outside of turn 5, and he can't make it stick there. And I think they come together. No, they're not, but we just also see there that Sid Sandwich is on the soft tyre, so surely they're going to be screaming, especially even with 5-6 laps gone, and that's probably why he's holding this pack up so much. Look how close everyone is together. They have to be extremely careful, especially through the castle section, which they're going through now. But Sid at the moment is hanging on to 6th position, but now 10 seconds back from P5 Sheriff Woody.
And the top 2 already starting to break away as well. Willie Bum doing his best to keep up with Leonardo, and Sheriff Woody keep himself in the mix for a podium here. Sid Sandwich is definitely making this a tale of 2 races. And it must be fair for the Aston Martin driver. The lone Aston left in this race is Delta called it early around lap 2, the surmise for extensive front wing damage to Aston Martin is around turn 18. Everyone getting close to that barrier on the outside. Not quite touching it though, because that would spell disaster. As Mondo and Josh, the two Williams drivers, making the switch there, because it looks like Sid and Josh are in the pits early. 5 laps only on a set of softs is a real surprise for Sid Sandwich. He's going to go to a set of hearts, surely not to the end of the race. I'm all for gambles, but that's one I think the odds are severely stacked against you. That's like 1 in 1,000 right there for Sid Sandwich. But if he can make this one work, that would be a very bold one to try and make work. As there's Willy Bum, still behind Leonardo. Suffering is the best word I think I can say for that Sauber on that also extensive front wing damage. Still in that front right. It hasn't got worse, but I'd imagine it's a hell to drive. It's like you're probably like trying to drive a bull at this point. He's taking control of a bull around this castle section. Willy Bum himself hits the arm coat on the inside, and I think he's got a bit of end plate damage himself as we rise over the crest. He does a front left end plate damage. Nowhere near as extensive as Leonardo, but just to also a reminder how much these drivers are pushing around this track, trying to put the other one off. Equally, they can put themselves over the line and over the limit very, very easily. As now down the back straight we go. Edel is out of the DRS range to Oliver, and that gap is getting larger. Now 1.5 seconds looks like Edel using some of that battery to build the gap, and Leonardo, Willy Bum, Sheriff Woody, this fight now for 3rd place, but Sheriff Woody arguably the better suited of the 3 because their car is still intact for the moment. As we get a bit of telemetry up, there we go, and see the Red Bull of Willy Bum make his way back into the podium places. Front left end plate damage, doesn't really matter. He's now back ahead of Leonardo and hoping he can run away a little bit now, given the state of affairs at that Sauber. Meanwhile, Mondo switching places with Hirsch and is up now into 6th place. Hirsch on the hard tyre and still in this train along with Button, and just there in the background is his teammate, the Tattoo Star, or teammate of Hirsch. With both the McLarens on a similar strategy, so one of them's going to have to either pit early or pit later than the other. And on the hard tyres, look to maybe about lap 17 before you pit, so another 10 laps from now. Then we'll see pit stops at McLaren, but in the meantime, for the medium tyres, I would be very surprised if we see anything over a half race for a set of mediums. So around lap 12, maybe lap 13, that's when we'll see the medium runners have already made their pit stop, to be fair, not even make their pit stop, so they've made it long beforehand. As there's Josh getting ahead of David Lawface into turn 3, you see there on the mini-map and the timing charts. Josh now making his pit stop, up now to 13th place, 7 seconds though behind Sid, and both of them pitted at the same time.
Yeah, that is right, and just looking at the gaps between where Sid was, which was around P6 where Mongo is, and how far he is behind now, it's around 16 seconds, so he'll definitely, when those guys pit, he'll definitely be quite a few seconds ahead. I would think at least 5-6 seconds now, obviously with the fresh tyres, so the undercut is paying off at this stage, but can he get him to the end is the question. He's probably going to need a safety car, I would have thought. And the thing is, he doesn't want it to come too early, because then everyone else in front of him can then get a free pit stop and he won't gain any places. So for the guys that are on the mediums, he's probably going to want that safety car to come around sort of like lap 12, lap 13, and he can coast on those hards for a few laps and maybe get them to the end. But it's going to be a very big ask for the Aston Martin. But going back to the front, and these two drivers here at the front, Eagle and Oliver Ritchie, really just pulling away from the pack now. They're over almost 7 seconds, both of them. Eagle is 7 seconds ahead of P3. It looks like, once again, like I've already said, it's going to be just between these two for the race win, unless we get a safety car which brings everyone closer together. Willy Bum in P3, and it has to be said, Leonardo, I feel, is doing really well actually to stay as close as he is to Willy Bum with that visibly bigger wing damage. And that's not just an end plate, that's half the right side of his front wing. So yeah, it's really really fair play to him that he's actually staying out there and sort of still keeping in contention for a podium place. Sheriff Woody then just on the back of that in P5, and then that sort of gap, that sort of train of cars that Sid was holding up is now starting to separate a little bit. They are still quite close together, but we're approaching lap 9 now, and the question is, when are the medium runners going to want to box? I would have thought probably we might start seeing some either next lap or the lap after, lap 9 or 10, as I think the Tatted Star has just got himself 6 seconds worth of penalties in the space of 1 lap.
Yeah, hardly ideal that for a Tattoo Star. Might want to try and get some of them rescinded at the end of the race. But now, getting a bit of deja vu here, is anyone? Edo now being pursued not quite by a McLaren, but now a Red Bull of this time still the same man, Oliver Ritchie. Now down towards turn 3 using the DRS is the Red Bull against the Sauber. Gaining on the Sauber, not close enough though to the Sauber to make a move. And of course the nature of a street circuit, right angle corners, it's not easy to make the overtake, and you've got to be basically ahead of them in the braking zone before you make the corner, otherwise it won't end well for anyone. And to confirm, the Tattoo Star, 6 seconds of penalties, but that is a very strange for him to get them so quickly. As Leonardo and Sheriff Woody still right behind Willie Bum, who's making that a fight for third. But again, Sheriff Woody has the better car, so to say, of that trio, because he doesn't have any damage to it. Is there Oliver? How close he is to the barriers there, and just it's so precise in that castle section. It's so difficult to get it right, but even get it consistently right is just raw talent. Meanwhile, speaking of the castle section, following now his fight for 7th place, Hirsch has dropped off the back of Mongo, who himself is slowly starting to catch up to that fight for 3rd. I think in all their antics and trying to defend against each other, the top 3, that fight for 3rd involving Willie Bum, Leonardo and Sheriff Woody, it's kind of burnt their tyres out a little bit, because Mondo is definitely starting to close that gap. That was around 11 seconds at one point, it's now just about less than 8 seconds, so Mondo is not out of this one yet. If there is to be a safety car later on, then they are definitely ones to pounce. Meanwhile, let's look towards the foot of the field, because this looks like a right good battle here, involving David, Godfather and Rage Quit. We still look around the field, anyone making any overtakes, looks like Radical is going for the move on Hirsch, using that DRS into turn 1, and Radical makes it work on the McLaren, but of course Hirsch on the hard tyres, Radical is on the medium tyres. Looks like Hirsch hasn't given up easy though, and Dredders in the pits somewhat early off of the mediums, only 9 laps, which to be fair is roughly the time I would be expecting people to be pitting. Godfather now to the outside of David Lawface and says ciao to the RB. Up now into 15th place is the Alpine, but of course both of these two will need to pit at least one more time in this race. David hasn't pitted yet, Godfather has, but will not get the tyres to the end. Dredders now going to emerge just ahead of Mike, who's for some reason his gamer tag is still blank, which is strange. Don't know how that's happened, but we still know it's them because they checked in for the race. And speaking of checking in for the race, if you guys want to compete in FPRL, Season 12 is on the horizon. We've confirmed our sign-ups are underway for Season 12, and if you guys want to join FPRL, you can do this by clicking the link to our Discord server, which is posted all over our social medias, primarily on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/FP Racing League. If you guys want to click the link, complete the sign-up steps, will have you in, because this is part of our Summer of Speed. What was a fantastic 5 is now our final 4. Following this, 3 more races in the campaign, as both the top 2 have pitted in unison. Edo learning from the Hungaroring not to go any different to Oliver, and Oliver just following him in the pits. So let's now see where they emerge. You've got to be out, I think, ahead of maybe Hirsch, maybe this fight actually involving Hirsch, Radical and Button, who himself is looking for a move in towards turn 1, just gets it stopped. Just about gets it stopped, and Radical shows him the door. Not going to happen there. And the top 2, but was Edo and Oliver, are actually out, and Mongo is sandwiched between the pair of them. So that's worked out great there for Edo, but not so good there for Oliver, who's actually lost time in those pit stops and had to concede the place to Mongo. So now he's got some work to do to catch back up to that Sauber.
He has indeed, and I'm wondering here whether or not we're going to see any of these front runners here on the medium tyres. That's Willy Bum, Leonardo, and Sheriff Woody. Are we going to see him try and stick this out for a few more laps on the mediums? Maybe hope for a safety car. Maybe try and obviously get a bit of a advantage on the guys behind them. They are obviously, well, two of them are obviously getting the benefit of the DRS, so they might want to try and stay out a little bit longer and get that. But Eagle's going to be on them so quickly with the fresh hards compared to 10-lap-old mediums. They'll probably catch them up at around about 3 seconds a lap, especially around a tight track like Baku. But yeah, Oliver Ritchie now right up behind Mongo, and he really now needs to make the move as he's losing so much time to the Kick Sauber in front of him. He's almost now about 4 seconds back almost, and really still trying to make a move, but there's no reason for Mongo to get out of the way here. And as he now comes onto the main straight, Oliver Ritchie surely now will make a move, and he will get the DRS, no doubt, and it will be an easy overtake. And I think Mongo is going to come into the box anyway. As I say that, the top three all going to come into the box. Eagle will retake the lead back, and Oliver Ritchie will retake second. But this time, rather than being just about a second behind, he's 3.2 seconds back. And now Eagle has got a bit more confidence in himself to go on and potentially not have so much battle from Oliver Ritchie behind and win the race. But Hirsch, Button, the Tattooed Star, all out on hard tyres still. At the moment, they're staying out, and Button from the back of the grid, shall we say, actually. I know it's not his actual position, it's a net position, but up to P4, up 16 places. If there was to be a safety car now, he would find himself in a really, really good position. But the question would be, would he be able to get the medium tyres to the end? We've obviously got then Woody Bum in 8th, Leonardo 9th, Sheriff Woody 10th. And Mongo now only around about 2 seconds behind this lot. So really, Mongo's made up some serious time there.
There's a bit of front wing, I think that is, out of turn 6. I'm not sure who that's from. We also saw for the timing charts as well, Sid Sandwich getting ahead of the penalty-riddled Tattooed Star. That's now for a net 5th as we look to our pit stops. Hirsch, Button and the Tattooed Star are the 3 drivers yet to pit, as you can tell, because they all started the race on hard tyres. So they're going to go a little bit longer in this race and hope for that safety car, which Major Allen might just provide them. It's only a virtual, but that's still ideal for Button, at least there. He's just down towards the final pit straight. That might still work out for these guys in the end, and the Tattoo Star as well. This is going to be a huge gain, because with the virtual safety car, that pit stop time you would have is about half. And while these guys have to abide to a delta, you don't. And now Button is going to use that as an incentive. Get in the pits, get me some fresh tyres on, as well as Hirsch. This is going to work out beautifully for those 3. The Tattoo Star actually carries on, because his teammate was getting serviced. Or maybe playing the long game here, as Button actually taking this as an excuse to change his front wing. Sheriff Woody's going to carry on. Obviously, he pitted the prior lap. It's Oliver! That might just be game, set and match already.
I think it will be. Oliver Ritchie making the ultimate mistake there. Drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC. And he's obviously just crept over that delta time. And Hirsch, he can take those mediums to the end. It's going to be a big ask, because obviously he didn't have a full safety car, so he could nurse them behind it for a couple of laps. He's got 13 laps to take those mediums. If he's good on them, he finds himself in a really good position here. He's got Tattooed Star and Josh, who will probably still have to pit, so that's another 2 places gained for him. And then he's got people in front of him on hard tyres, which at the moment he can probably try and take advantage of. So that VSC really helped him out, but can he get those mediums to the end is the big question. Yeah, Eagle, I think he can just kind of relax now. Oliver Ritchie will now have to come in and serve that drive-through, and he probably is still going to come out just about in, I would say, P2, because obviously Tattooed Star and Josh will have to box at some point, but he's going to be so far back, and he is going to come in now. We will see where he is going to come out. Tattooed Star or Josh. I think Josh is actually going to overtake the Tattooed Star here, and they will take position 2 or 3. I think it's only going to be P3. I think Oliver Ritchie's going to get out in front of these two. So now approaching turn 1. It's going to be close, but it is Ritchie that is out still in P2. So that just gives you an idea just how big a lead that Eagle has now got. A 16-second lead. He can really just relax now. Just do not put it in the barrier and hope not for a safety car. And it should be an easy win for the Kick Sauber, and it will mean 3 points back from a championship lead.
And of course, with Fishsticks not racing next week potentially, this is to be a huge day in the championship. As there, Hirsch is making up his own track almost, trying to get ahead of Mondo. Hirsch pitting under the virtual for a new set of mediums and should hopefully, for his sake, get to the end of the race. Mondo will get to the end of the race on these hards. Sheriff Woody, Leonardo and Willybum all making a pit stop the previous lap also to get their front wings changed, so that's going to cost them a bit of time. But Josh as well, he's got a little bit of a buffer now over that trio. He might just actually use that as an incentive to try and get to the end of the race, and even at that he's only 1.8 seconds behind Oliver. You just see how much Hirsch is not liking these traction zones drifting out of every corner. Got to try and calm it down a little bit. As a Tattoo Star certainly doing his bit for his teammate here to try and help him close up, because there he is in the background, losing his end plate. But the Tattoo Star still, regardless, doing his bit, as there's now 4 cars, and there's Hirsch catching up now. So the Tattoo Star doing his teammate a good service here, but this is going to get very messy very quickly as Leonardo just keeps out the wall. Don't want to go too close to that, otherwise it's going to be, as I say, doom and gloom for our pole sitter. As now down the pit straight we go. Tattoo Star, look behind you. There goes 1, there goes 2, looking for another one. And into turn 1, Willybum is ahead. Leonardo just about ahead. And the Tattoo Star, your troubles aren't over yet, because Sheriff Woody, Mondo and Hirsch is right behind you. Button though, setting the fastest lap down in 12th on his recovery charge through the order. Sheriff Woody now gets the move done. And here comes Mondo looking to compound it. 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness! He definitely knew what he was doing there, the Tattoo Star, trying to
he's out
and defend, and he didn't know what he was doing because he went too close to the wall.
Ah, well.
Good.
Yeah.
Can I rewind real quick and just backtrack my comment? So, Ego's been slammed with a good bit of delta there as well at the exit of the castle section. Definitely don't. I was about to say you don't want that, and Radical has obliged for not getting that.
Right.
Oh dear.
Well.
And that is actually a full safety car. Just see there.
Yes, it is.
That's now brought all. That's all of his get out of jail card.
It is, but I mean, everyone here. What are you going to do? I think Hirsch would probably stay out here because he's going to gain. Probably, he will go up to P3. I feel. Because he's 9 seconds behind third. I reckon everyone in front of him will potentially box, but they've only on the hards for 3 laps, so they might actually stay out. So and Sheriff Woody's got a penalty for a collision with Leonardo. Not sure what's
suppose he can. At least he can serve that in the pits. That's all I'm going to say. You can get rid of that.
Yeah.
Still a long way to go.
Exactly. Eagle's going to take a free pit stop here because he's so far ahead he can. So he'll get on to mediums to the end. So good. I think everyone's probably going to come in. Even though they've only been on their tyres for 3 laps, they're probably going to come in. No, Leonardo has decided not to. Leonardo is going to say, do you know what? I'm going to go up to P2. Mongo's going to stay out as well. And where is Oliver Ritchie going to come out is the question. Hirsch is going to come in, so maybe he's got some wing damage there.
Radical stays out, which...
This doesn't really matter with Radical. He's got to drive through.
He's got to drive through, yeah. So does Sid, actually. Sid's going to jump Josh, is he? No. That's important, though, for Oliver and Josh. So they're ahead of Sid Sandwich, and that's no more traffic than what they really need in this race. So Sid now 7th. Willybum, Hirsch, Sheriff Woody. After that service and 10-second penalty is now actually not really lost anything to his fight for a podium. But you already know why Leonardo's done that, and it's to do his teammate a service. That's the only reason I can think of, at least, as to why he stayed out, because he was in a fight there for a podium, and he's decided, you know what, the constructors The constructor is the bigger picture, and I want to bring the championship home for the team. So Leonardo staying out is going to try and back up the field, which really is only him and Mondo, because Radical, with all due respect, is a bit irrelevant in that conversation because he's got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual, which is very unfortunate for the Haas driver. He's going to have to serve that a lap after the restart, and that's going to cascade him now to the back of the field. So looking at the field now, Godfather has stayed out. That's now their get out of jail card, given how their race started, but they can finish the race strong. Does Leonardo have end plate damage? Just looking there, he does. It's not a good day for the front wings, and equally not a good track for the front wings, because there's about half of them left. And I mean that across the whole weekend. They brought like 5 front wings for each team. Some folk have already burnt out 3 of them, and we're not even half race distance. I'll tell you, we're just over half race distance. But Edo, Leonardo, Mondo is your current podium. Radical in a net 4th. Oliver, Josh, Sid, William Hirsch, and Sheriff Woody in 10th at this race. As we saw from qualifying, anything can happen, and everything is in store for the remaining, what should be, I would say, 9 laps in this race. Potentially 8, given when everyone catches up to the back of the safety car. David Ballface just taking his time, keeping his tyres in check to get up to the back of the field. Just looking through the order, actually, let's have a look at our positions. This should give us an idea of the good and the bad in the field. And dare I say, the good of the field is going to be Button, because after Radical serves his drive-through, he's going to find himself up in the points. Sid Sandwich has proven good as well, and so is Mongo actually, a bit unnoticed that he qualified down in 12th. He's now running in a net 3rd, potentially even 2nd place in this fight for a podium. But of course, Olowa is going to be a huge problem for him and Leonardo. But Leonardo's just looking behind him instead of looking in front of him. I don't really know actually. It seems like just a mixed fortune for everyone in this race. And the safety car arriving right in the middle of this race is going to throw a couple of surprises, and it has made a few people consider what is best for them. I think the best option was to pit.
Yeah, I think so. I would have thought it's difficult. By the time we get going again, it's going to be what we're going to have. We might even go now.
I think we'll have. David's still got to catch up. I think we'll have 8 more laps. 8
more laps. So you're not going to use the mediums up that much. So I do think the mediums are definitely the best tire to go. Yeah, the hards will probably even out, but probably not until maybe the last couple of laps, maybe. So as long as Richie and Josh can make moves quickly, they're probably going to find themselves up in the podium places. It's going to be a good fight for Leonardo, especially with wing damage, and also for Mongo to stay with the pack. Obviously, Radical will drop down when he serves his drive-through to the back of the field, which is obviously not ideal for him. But yeah, I think the right choice was to box, but I guess once again it all depends where you sit in the stat. It's kind of in standings at the moment where you run. It's kind of a difficult situation. You could have stayed out and tried for track position, but there is 8 laps still to go, and I do think that 2nd, 3rd, obviously 4th as well, they're probably going to get eaten up by the guys that are on 2-lap old mediums, because they're not really 2 laps old. They're probably only like half a lap old really, because they're just coasting it behind the safety car. So we definitely will be going after this lap, because David is only a corner away and a little bit of a straight from the back of the pack. So we will get underway once again once we get to the end of this lap. But looks like once again, even though that the gap is a lot smaller, Eagle will just use the 2 drivers that are behind him on the hards for at least the first couple of laps, just to kind of coast away and get at least a good 3-4 seconds on Richie, as Gregors gets a 3-second penalty behind the safety car, and his teammate has got a 10-second penalty for a collision with him. So the 2 Ferraris taking each other out and getting a penalty. It's not ideal from the Ferrari boys.
Certainly not. Certainly not ideal for them, as Major Allen's actually chimed in with the truth of their redemption. System really goes so well. Major Allen, pick a commentator and we'll pick Truth automatically. So, sorry, you don't really have much choice with Monkey Boy Kirk, because they are probably the smartest commentator in the league to not pick there, and I'm equally the most insane for electing to choose it willingly. But we should get back underway at the end of this lap as into race control. Safety car is in at the end of this lap. David Lawface has caught up to the field, and we will have 8 more laps to go. As Major Allen's actually elected you for a shooter there. We'll get to that later on, at least when there's a bit of a break in the action, because his restart is going to be critical for a championship in which Edo finds himself 28 points back from Fish Sticks, the latter of the two not racing tonight. So this is Edo's chance to close up and make it a dash to the finish, not just around Baku, but for the end of the season, as that battery is being rinsed, the foot to the floor, and we are away once more around Baku. Edo, Leonardo, Mondo, Oliver gets the jump on Radical, who's servicing his drive-through already, and I think he's going to get away with that.
No, I don't think he is.
No, I don't think he's going to, actually, given... I'm going to avert from that. No, he is. His picture went there, so he's got away with that. Edo, Leonardo, Mondo, Oliver, Josh, Sid, Hirsch, Willybum, Sheriff Woody, Button in 10th. Dreader's actually pitting there for a new front wing after the collision with his teammate. So that is both Ferraris now all but confirmed out of the points. There's Leonardo, just how much he's suffering from that front wing damage, which he's basically driven with the whole race. What was on the front right side is now on the left side. So, I suppose perfectly balanced and all that. But there goes Willybum getting ahead of Hirsch, and Sheriff Woody now dropping down to 9th place. It's no major restart there for the Alpine, and if you're an RB, you'll be loving that news, given the fact you're 14th and 15th right now, not scoring, but neither is the Alpine team, and they're your closest rivals.
Yeah, this is a really, really hectic first lap. Everyone's got to try and keep it together here. Eagle now almost 2 seconds in front. This is exactly what he would have wanted on the restart for the two hard runners of Leonardo and Mongo to hold up Richie and Josh behind on the fresh mediums, and that's exactly what's happening. Alan, I will go with the truth for your truthful there, please, mate. But yeah, I mean, Leonardo is doing really well to stay as far as he's in front of Mongo with that wing damage. As I say, that Mongo does get 3 seconds worth of penalties, and now Oliver Richie will try and get past, but what a run Josh has got. Mongo might also be trying to obviously give his teammate a bit of help here, but there goes Oliver Richie, and surely now Mongo will just get out of the way. No, here comes Josh. Josh has actually got a better slipstream on the two of them, and Richie trying to go around the outside, and he can't make it work there. And there goes Josh, and Josh goes through.
And he does a double on them. Now Oliver trying to get the move done, and Mondo around the outside goes the Williams, but Mondo has done more than his part there to help Josh ahead of the Williams. He's up now, well, help him ahead of his teammate and ahead of the Red Bull. He's up now into 3rd place, but still 2 seconds back from Leonardo, and echo that gap to Edo. So 4 seconds these guys have got to make up in 7 laps. As I'm just looking through the order, Sheriff Woody is making up one of those places he's lost there on Hirsch. Button on his charge through the field now in the points, and arguably I think on the better tyre, on the hard tyres, and we've seen people pitting off of mediums after just 8 laps, and Hirsch is not loving the rear grip he's getting in that McLaren. He's been sliding about this whole race, trying to keep it in a straight line, almost like he's making up his own track, which is some credit on a street circuit. As through the castle section we go with this midfield, headed now by Josh in 3rd. Everyone in range for the DRS, down to 14th place, David Lawface, who's still with a chance at points. Racewhip has a penalty to serve, and so does Mondo, getting a 3-second penalty in the prior lap, and that will really drop him down the order. I'd say about 3 places given how close this field is, but Hirsch starting to split up now from the group in front of him. He won't get the DRS, and that's going to put him under increasing pressure from Button. And there goes Willybum right behind Mondo, who's just suffering on those hard tyres. And now Willybum getting around the outside of the Williams. There goes one car. How many more is there in store for Mondo? Sid Simon is next, and I get the feeling that's going to be a very easy prey for the Aston Martin driver on their return to FPRL, their second outing of the season. Clouts into the back of Mondo and forces, he clouts into the back of Willybum, forces Mondo up the curb himself, losing half of his front wing, and Sheriff Woody just nips by the pair of them. So that is everything he's lost and a little bit more back. for Sheriff Woody. As there's a safety car. Dredders is retired. They're in the final corner. He's hit. Oh, Dredders has hit the barrier. Well, that's all you need.
Well, what do they do now? 5 laps to go. Surely.
Oh no, Josh!
Why don't we just give this race to Eagle?
I was about to say he overtook Leonardo. Like, I don't know what happened there unless Josh just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I'm not too sure there, but Josh, now, like Radical, will have to serve a drive-through. But what I was going to say was, what are these drivers going to do now? 5 laps left to go, and surely, the thing is, Eagle is on 5-lap-old mediums. Can he risk the fact that potentially everyone behind him could go on a fresh set of softs? It's really difficult here because Eagle has got to make a choice here. Does he come in for softs? And there's going to be people that are going to go past him and potentially not go in for softs. There's a lot of people that decide to stay out. He's going to find himself right down near the back of the pack. So this is a really difficult decision for Eagle. If he doesn't come in and then everyone else decides to go onto softs, he could find himself in a bit of trouble in the last couple of laps. So as we now approach the pit lane,
what I'm going to say, the top 6 are not going to pit. The top 6 will not pit. At least that's one of my theories being proven. Eagle stays out. Josh stays out. So does Leonardo. All of us stays out. William stays out. And so does Sheriff Woody.
Oh, spot on, mate.
Let's go! I've done something right. I've done something right. Give me a good. As actually, well, suppose if you're David Lawface, you're near enough the same tire life as those in front. Why not stay out? Just weather a storm. All kicks off behind you. Then you're there to pick up the pieces. So David now is the only one from 7th place downwards. 2 pats in the back and 10 points to Gryffindor for myself. Has stayed out. Everyone's on softs for the remainder of this race. I suppose if you're Mondo, you might as well just gamble because you've got a penalty. So as it is, and equally, much like Imola, both of the Williams drivers going to be played with penalties. Josh with a drive-through through, dare I say, carelessness from the Williams driver. But so unfortunate. They've done so well to recover this race, and it's now just been all for naught as they're going to all but confirm they will not score points tonight. Major Allen, Monkey White said about 10 minutes ago, he said truth for his Truth or Dare redemption. So do your very worst and be honest with everyone, as we're going to have 2 laps under this safety car. That is a given. We'll get underway on lap 25, a 2-lap dash to the end. I'm pretty sure Fish Sticks is watching this somewhere near Spudbros. He's begging right now, fingers crossed something goes wrong here for that Sauber. Edo's been leading for it most of this race. Just hasn't looked like it's going to go wrong yet for the Sauber driver, and even 2nd place for Edo's a missed opportunity. What could be 3 points could very well be 10, 13, it could even still be 28 for all we know if something goes terribly awry for the Sauber driver. Not trying to omen things, but it definitely does sound like it. But so yeah, as it is, if could, would, should, and all that. As Dredders has chimed in with his 2 cents on the race, and I'm not the biggest fan of the track as well, Dredders, so I'll agree with you on that one. I won't quite quote what you've said, but I do agree.
Oh, sorry, mate, you caught me having a sip of my drink.
To be fair, I did redeem a drink redemption about 20 minutes ago, just no one else has. You've got your dare, truth then, rather, must be said.
Who is my favourite driver in all 3 tiers? One from each tier, be honest.
Choose wisely for tier 1.
My favourite driver is a very good question, actually. I'm trying to think who is in tier 1.
I mean, let's be real, tier 1 consists of Dark Blade or Reese, so your options are limited.
I would say my favourite tier 1, current tier 1 driver has to be... Yes, I never watched tier 1 really. It's on a Friday.
Oh, okay. Right.
Well, well, I was doing stuff on Friday. I don't really watch it that much, but I will say, just
Fair.
because you're in the comments box and I've already insulted you enough with that comment, we'll say, I will say,
Yeah.
I will say cruiser for tier 1.
Look, you didn't insult me with the comment because I don't even watch my own race. 9 times out of 10 I don't watch it unless I win because I'm a bit arrogant.
Yeah.
But that's literally just background noise when I'm racing because I rock solo on race days. But let's be real, tier 1 is Darkblade and Reese. Tier 1.5 is the rest. So
Yeah, that is literally right. Tier 2.
yourself.
Who else do I like in tier 2?
Who else do I like apart from me? He says.
Yeah. We'll go, Joel, we'll go TJ in tier 2. Well, a lot of respect for TJ. We'll go
Controversy.
tier 2. Controversy. Everyone's now going to have a right go at me about that. And tier 3, we are going to go with... Who do I really like in tier 3?
This man.
We'll go David Loweface. Go on, David
Hey!
Loweface. Yeah, there we go.
Right, big up the lead owner, the former LM and the current LM. Let's go. And we're back on the way for the final time. That foot is hard to the floor for Edo, and we are underway for one more time at this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Edo in a championship pursuit, and he's got 2 laps left to take a killer blow to fish sticks. Josh Leonardo and the big threat of all about Willie Bum, Sheriff Woody and David Lawface behind. He knows a thing or two about leaving it late in Baku. Mondo, Godfather and Locker in the points as Radical. Oh, and Hirsch is drawn at the back. He's lost it at the barriers. And Radical looks like he's been caught up in it as well. Hirsch's recovery is all but in vain. As now around turn 3, 3 laps to go at Baku. Edo stretching that gap now to 1.2, and Josh on that drive-through. It's going to be all in vain for them as David Lawface at the mercy of the soft compound tyre runners. Down 2 places already and make that a 3rd potentially as Locker now to go around the outside as both of them go wide. That's going to invite Sid Sandwich up the inside of the pair of them and get the duel. So now Sid has put misery there to David Lawface and Locker still behind him as they approach the castle section. This is where the time deficit is showing, is now on board with David, just how much more careful he has to be on those warm mediums to these fresh softs, and how much more time Locker's losing stuck behind him.
Yeah, he's losing so much time, and potentially Locker could have been on for potentially a P7, but that coming scale with David is probably mean that's not going to be the case now. As we got another one, and Jelly Bean Mike is out at the back, so we're down to 14 now. Everyone's trying to push it so much on these final runs. Final lap, sorry, and yeah, not really gonna work. But Eagle on these 8 lap old mediums, 1.2 seconds ahead. But obviously, Josh will now probably come in to serve his drive-through, and it definitely very much looks like he's going to be easily taking this victory. Oliver Ritchie in P3, but he's going to try and stay with Leonardo. And Leonardo trying to go around the outside, but can't make it work. Leonardo going to try and get the DRS now as we go down from turn 2 to turn 3 on Oliver Ritchie. Just looking back as well, Mongo up to P5, but he has got 3 seconds of penalties. Godfather in P6 at the moment is going to leapfrog him up to P5. And no, Leonardo can't do anything there on this occasion in front of Oliver Ritchie. But Eagle now 2.7 seconds ahead. There's another. Oh, and David Lawface is out. They're all dropping. They're all dropping here at the end.
Well done there, Josh, to avoid that. Looks like David's got the tattoo star treatment in that, forced onto the arm toward turn 3, and that is game over for the RB team. Neither of them scoring points, so this is also a good day for Alpine in the constructor standings. A nightmare scenario for the RB. Both championship leads getting completely evaporated as it stands. We've got 1.5 laps left to go, and the margin right now for Edo over Oliver Ritchie is 2 seconds. That Red Bull is catching up, but he might just run out of time to really do anything about it. The race was decided on that drive-through penalty for the Red Bull, and as much as he's tried to claw up the deficit, he's just had too much traffic to contend with. And down the main straight for the final time with Edo, well, what is the penultimate time for Edo? The final time next lap, looking to make it. Another victory in the league. 28 points now down to 3 for the Sauber as we are approaching and going on to the final lap. 2.1 seconds over the Red Bull. But who's going to end off the race in third? Because it looks like Mondo's going to put pay to Willybum's race on their return to FPRL and their return to Tier 3 this season. Gets on the curb just as it stopped, and those soft tyres for Mondo, looking to at least see him cross the line in the podium place, as there's Willybum defending to the inside of Godfather, and there's also Locker. No! Another one that's gone. As there was Godfather making the move on Willybum, and this is now terrible news for the Red Bull, who's drove ever so well, but it's just one lap too much from the soft tyre runners as Mondo gets ahead of Leonardo, and now Godfather looking to recover from his opening lap escapades to see himself on a podium. Mondo will cross the line third, but this now, whoever finishes fourth will get this podium place because of the 3-second penalty to that Williams, and it looks like Godfather's going to give himself the best advantage. Oh no! Oh no!
That is absolutely ridiculous there. I think they just, a couple of them just come together. Willybum just goes, thank you very much. I'll take the fucking podium place there.
Make up your mind. I mean, we do apologise for the slip of the tongue there from
yeah, we do.
But like, no one knows what. No one knows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 casualties in the race now, and whatever else is left in store. But what was a war zone behind them is just sunshine and rainbows for Eagle. Down the main straight for the final time, tries all one might. It's going to be the same story as the Hungaroring. There's the Sauber in front of you. You are not going to catch him, and Eagle almost tormenting the Red Bull, and he's going to take a priceless victory in this championship chase. Eagle wins the Tier 3 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and at least for Red Bull it's 2 and 3 for them, all the way ahead of Willybum. Sid Sandwich just missing out in 4th ahead of Mondo after his penalty drops him down to 5th. Godfather limps home in 6th place. Following that is the other Alpine of Sheriff Woody, and certainly the ending to a Tier 3 race that we expected, the ending to a race at Baku we expected, but the result is absolutely what that Sauber was hoping for, as we're going to see him take to the podium, although once again second best on the day. But fair play to Willybum though, keeping your nose clean, and 3rd place on just his 2nd race of the season as well. Bit of an on and off schedule here for Willybum, but my goodness, fantastic result for them. And the Red Bull team have been deprived of points all season. Double podium for them. And yeah, I think I've learned that the commentary curse is strong with me after what's happened today.
Well, I mean, yeah, slip of the tongue from me. I got a bit too excited there at the end, but it was a dominant race in the end for Eagle. Oliver Richie gave him a little bit of trouble near the first part of the race, but in the end it was no match for the Kick Sauber. He puts himself 3 points behind the championship lead, and it's going to be a very interesting race next week if Fishtix once again doesn't race. Could we potentially see a change in championship leader? Good races for Willybum. Sid Sandwich as well, up from P11 to P4 with no penalties as well, going on the alternate strategy as well in the end, and after all of the carnage that did happen, finds himself in P4, so a really good result for him. But we will obviously now get the P1 and P3 man, or try to at least, in the party, and if we can get a word from Oliver Ritchie in P2, then obviously of course we will do.
Thank you, Sid, for the drink redemption. I appreciate that, given what was an ending to a race. That's the best way of putting it. And you'll notice as well, I have not improved my tech level at least once in this game. See what I've got for the podium pass. Nothing of value, just a new font. That's what I get. A new font for a car I'm never going to use. I love this game. Bring back a compendium. At least there was something to play for. Anyway, actually, you know what? Let's get the chromium for the McLaren, just for a brief second. Right, it's disgusting. And on to our 3rd place driver, we head to Red Bull, which I think actually for the first time this season for the Red Bull team, as Josh has said that he's upset. Just a small lapse in concentration in the end for Josh, and that was all but over for And just like Imola as well, actually, that's the second time this season that the Williams duo, on for a good result of points, and just the penalties just didn't go their way. As we do have our podium drivers in the Xbox party, and I'll try and get a word from Ola in the meantime as well. But now that he's here for the first time this season, multiplier over now to our third place driver, Willie Bum.
Yeah, thank you very much, Cruiser. Yeah, P3, Woody Bum. Been a very long while since me and you have had a word of each other, so it's good to see you back on the podium, mate. Obviously a Thursday, not obviously normal race day, but one that you could then obviously come and race with us. But we'll obviously start with quali, and obviously very treacherous conditions out there. Found yourself up in P2 in the end, splitting the two kick sables at the front. Did you feel as if you could have gained any more on the lap that could have potentially put you on pole position at all?
A little bit. I think going through Castle, I took it so slowly just to not crash. And yeah, it was a one-shot qualifying for me really. So it was go for the best, see if the inters will work, and it came off.
Yeah. Well, obviously, one shot quality, one lap, and to put it P2, great lap for you. Front row of the grid. Coming into the race, then completely different conditions, dry throughout. Found yourself sort of fighting for that podium spot. The top two at the time of Richie and Eagle, who obviously were the top two in the end, sort of getting away towards the start of the race. How was that battle with, I believe it was Leonardo and Sheriff Woody early on?
Yeah. So by the looks of things, well, I had front left wing damage, and Leonardo had front right, I think. There's battle of the wing damage, and we were just holding Sheriff up, unfortunately. But yeah, well, once got the wing changed, car felt a lot better. But the front two were gone. Let's be fair.
Yeah, they did go off quite quickly, and then obviously those safety cars at the end, changing it off about quite a bit. But then just seemed that a lot of people decided to get some penalties under the safety car and have a few collisions, and you must have thought the heavens had opened on that final lap when Leonardo and Godfather just took each other out, and you just thought, "Thank you very much, I'll take that." I bet you were licking your lips when that happened.
Yeah, I started seeing Godfather slowly come across into the braking zone, and I knew Leo probably wasn't going to slow down, so I don't think he would have seen him. And then when I was quite lucky they went left, so it was easy for me to just avoid them. And I don't know why Josh pit, I'm not 100%, but yeah, got lucky, and then just hoping Sid didn't have enough on the straight. Just
Yeah,
held
no,
him off.
he got close at the end, didn't he? But he just about held on. I think
Yeah.
Josh pitted because he had a drive through, so he had to come in and obviously serve that.
Ah.
But obviously we haven't raced obviously many races this season. We've got 3 left. Do you think you'll be racing any of them at all?
Probably not. No, probably not.
Well, okay, then
Mondays
we'll
are not really a go for me.
Yeah, okay. Well, we might see you a bit more in season 12 potentially. Who knows? But congratulations, obviously, once again on the podium. Yeah, very deserved.
Cheers, guys.
All right.
All right, Multi Boys comments there. Well done to yourself, Ollie Bum, and your first podium of the season. Let's now brought a word through from Oliver through our Discord chat, and it says, quote, "The kicked drivers worked well as a team, holding me back with a slower driver, which cost me a lot of time and allowed Edo to pull away. Wasn't much I could do, still it was a fun race and I really enjoyed it. Just wait till you go in the mid-part more often, because Baku's hell for that reason. But still second place for Oliver, and a good way to start your tenure in FPRL, and equally to carry on your tenure in FPRL, Eagle. Game on in the championship tonight, and that is a result you were probably hoping for, even on Monday, but of course, that's what I actually want to touch on real quick. With this race being rescheduled, it allowed you a bit more time to practice.
Nope.
Did you have... Oh, well, I say that. Well, regardless, with the rescheduled race, it definitely threw your plans off a little bit, I would imagine.
I'd have rather have raced it on Monday with Fish in the race, to be fair. It feels a bit shit that he couldn't race. he's matey, so it's not ideal. And obviously he's missing next week as well, so he's already given up. So he was just in our party then. He congratulated me, like, but it just feels, I don't know, it's not the way you want to catch someone, is it really, with them not racing?
Well, you've got to take it as they all arrive, I suppose. But on to the actual race. Contrary to what we were seeing in that midfield, just dominance again, just so well managed and controlled. And now 3 points back onto Singapore next week. If I'm correct, it is Singapore. I hope it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know Singapore, going from one street circuit to another, Singapore is a nightmare in terms of length of the circuit. And quite the endurance exercise, it must be said. Do you think you've got the momentum now on your side?
Yeah, possibly. Fish has already told me how many points I already need next week to be in the lead. So, yeah, it's not. I don't think I've actually touched it on this game yet. Maybe a couple of laps in TT, but I haven't done anything else. Yeah, it's not a favourite track of mine, but I don't mind it. It's not terrible, but it's not great. As for tonight, Richie could have been. It could have been closer at the end. I think if after the one pit stop, he got a bit held up and he come out behind Mungo, I think, and I managed to gap him then. Then obviously there was another safety car, which obviously helped people catch back up again. That's ruined my race really with the safety cars, because at one point I think I had because he got a drive through as well, didn't he? I think. Richie.
Yeah, he did get a drive through.
Yeah, so at one point I think I had like a 17-second lead, so that would have been very boring though for everyone, to be fair. So I suppose at least it made it more exciting for everyone watching.
But still, obviously, with the race now in the books, and that's one race down, 3 more to go. Singapore, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. Are you hopeful for the run into the season?
Yeah, I think I raced Abu Dhabi last night against Fish, and I beat him there. So yeah, I think it should be happy really, but I'm not happy about it. It's weird, very weird.
Yeah, you take them. You don't take it, mate. There's nothing that can be done. It's not our fault the servers went kaput on Monday, so
Oh no,
it's. I know it's not the way you wanted to win, but equally it's the way that you had to win. So, regardless of that, that's still a very, very important result for you. And I'll pass on my congratulations as well for tonight.
thank you very much. Well done, Willie.
And of course, sorry for cutting in there. Yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in on this rescheduled Tier 3 Azerbaijan Grand Prix. But before we do the usual antics, Monkey Boy Kurt, our driver of the day. There's a couple of candidates I'm sure some you would expect, but I think we're going to see an outside winner here for driver of the day. So with a bit of time to reflect, who gets your vote?
I mean, it's one of those ones again where if someone isn't so dominant, you would want to give it to someone else. But I think Eagle's just, I don't think you could give it to anyone else. He's really just kind of just not giving anyone an inch in today's race to dominate. At one point, he was 17 seconds ahead. I mean, I know that was obviously because of Richie getting a drive-through, but obviously, admittedly, that was Richie's mistake. So, to be 17 seconds ahead at one point for a safety car, I think it has to go to one person. I would give shout-outs definitely, though, to Woody Bum, obviously, on the podium in P2, and to Sid Sandwich, his second race back in the league, up to 4th. Obviously, there was a lot of people crashing out in safety cars that obviously made that possible for some people. But yeah, Eagle did dominate, and I think because of the sheer domination, I'll give it to him today.
Well, there we go. All but the pole position, the perfect day for Eagle. And it's a tale of threes now. 3 races to go, 3 points in the championship. And what could have been potentially 3 drivers in the championship chase, I think now it is mathematically not possible. So the top 2 of Tier 3, this is going to be interesting. But that is going to be it for us from tonight. Thank you for tuning in and for watching. If you guys are watching this on our YouTube channel, first off, thank you for finding this video, and this video finding you. You guys want to join FPRL, be sure to click the link to our Discord server. How do you do that? Nightbot drops a link to our Discord server via our Twitch chat, twitch.tv/FP Racing League, where we stream all of these races, what is usually a Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 8 PM UK time. We'll go back to our normal streaming schedule next week, fingers crossed all things go well, where our Tier 3 drivers take on the Marina Bay Circuit in Singapore before next Wednesday is the turn of Monkey Boy Kurt and the Tier 2s. Before we get there though, be sure to tune in tomorrow night, Friday night, which will be the 29th of August. We're done with August already. Oh my goodness, where's this year going? We're done basically now with the summer. So the summer of speed, very close to the autumn season, and soon the winter running, which is going to be fun, festive, and much like the sports season, absolutely brilliant. The best time of the year, it must be said. And be sure to tune in to our Season 12 event. Our sign-ups are underway for Season 12. Put your name down for that and we will have you on the grid for Season 12. And even before that, with Season 11 drawing to a close, and Eagle, a huge chunk, took out Fishtix's championship lead. So with that, that is going to be us from FP Racing League. Thank you everyone for tuning in and for watching. That has been Monkey Boy Kurt.
Yeah, cheers everyone for watching. We'll see you next week.
We will see you next week. I will see you on track tomorrow for our Tier 1 race. And we will see you in the commentary booth. We'll hear from us in the commentary booth next Monday, which will be, if I'm correct, the 1st of September for our week around Marina Bay, the endurance exercise of the calendar. So we'll see you then. Until then, it's been Cruiser 1872. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, good night.